Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Tuesday, March the 4th. Nope, it's April the 4th. Oh, and the year's 2023. Let's talk trading. About profit with Walmal. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and Walmal's. Walmal, I had a trader contact me and they wanted to know what my most profitable indicator was and if there was an EA for it. So I wrote them back and I said, indicators aren't profitable. Traders are profitable. And so then he replied back and then I said, well, there's really three parts. Yeah, and the first part is your method or system. And that, if you have something that has a positive expectancy, then over the long haul, you should be profitable. But then there's the second part, or the second leg of the three-legged stool of trading, as I like to call it, which is your risk and your money management. What you do with the money when you're up and what you do with the money when you're down. And then the third thing, which is the probably the wobbly leg, is you, the trader, because you need to execute flawlessly or as near to flawlessly as possible. You can't be late, can't be early. You can't take airball trades, seat of the pants trades. You just really need to be focused in the moment, not overthink, not get emotional. And so, and I also mentioned to the trader that, and I've mentioned it before in these videos, the turtle traders proved it. They had a method, and some traders were highly profitable and some traders weren't. So why, if you have the same method and they're all in the same room at the same time, trading pretty much the same things, why are some profitable and some aren't? Well, there's only one variable, and that's the trader. So what do you say, Walmal?
Yeah, I would agree with the turtles, that's for sure, because, I've worked with people in the past and basically even sitting next to them and they could be, in the beginning, they were highly, profitable and I'm losing my shirt, it's like we're trading the exact same method and yet, and we're sitting there on the exact same internet connection where, doing exactly the same thing supposedly. And yet, how come their bank account was growing and mine was decreasing, on a regular basis? And, it really comes down to that. It comes down to that, that three-letter word, Y-O-U, you, and it really comes down to what you're doing. Now, admittedly, you could probably eliminate some of the things with having an EA, because it could eliminate some of the, getting in late, things like that. But the problem with that is this. Somebody still has to come along and figure out, what I like to call a methodology or a system, because it's not just the indicator, it's the system around it that matters. And with that system, when I say that system, what I'm talking about is, okay, what do I do when this happens? What do I do when that happens? And some of the things about having an EA that's great is that it can go and eliminate some of the, well, you did it today and I did it today. Well, just be transparent here, where you got in late, or or just missed the trade. Yeah, you can eliminate some of those things, and it's true, absolutely true. It can happen, but here's the thing that EAs can't do for you. The market is a wicked beast sometimes, and it does things that are outside the normal. And so what can very easily happen is that, excuse me, what can very easily happen is that, something occurs in the market that you didn't think about. And you have not coded that into your EA to go and react. And so the EA doesn't know what to do. And it then becomes a problem within the EA. That's why sometimes I think, these guys, for $39.99 you can go and buy EA that will make you millions in weeks, and I'm sure everybody out there has gotten those emails, and, but the thing is, you can take any EA, I don't care what EA it is, you can take an EA that basically does nothing more than looks at, the wind, and based on the direction of the wind, that, you do a calculation off the direction of the wind, and that tells you to go long or short and how much you're supposed to risk. And I'll bet you if you take that EA, you could go back in time and actually find a set of, a time period when it's actually profitable. That's just the reality of EAs, unfortunately, to a certain extent. Well, at least these type of EAs. Now, where you become profitable is an EA doesn't become profitable until you're profitable. And you have to sit down and actually be trading the system, that you've developed around the EAs. The EAs are not the system. The EAs are nothing more than a shovel. You're a tool. If you're a brick mason, you could have all the Portland in the world. You could have the mixer. You could have all of the spatulas. You could have all of the tools, and you can have the levels, and you can have the strings. Every tool in the world sitting out there. But that doesn't mean that you can go and build a strong and straight wall. That just means you got the tools to do it. You still got to sit down and watch and pay attention and actually go and do. And that's what you have to do. You just got to go and do it. And and I know, Tiro, you love to go and say, you got to trade real money. You got to have some real skin in the game to learn. And there's some truth to that. Using that same illustration of the mason, the reality is reading a book, okay, about how to build a wall doesn't teach you how to go and be able to go and build the wall. Sure, you're going to learn some things. You're going to learn some things to do, some things not to do. Absolutely, no question about it. But just because you read a book on masonry, you're not going to go build a wall. You got to go out there and actually literally mix the cement, learn how to get the right consistency, learn how to go and mud it up, learn how to go and stack them, learn how to level them, and build the wall. Well, trading's no different. You can have all these tools. You can have the indicator 2, you can have the sweet spot lines, you can go and have the flip-flop boxes, you can have the state change one that we've been working on recently. They're just tools. That's all they are, is tools. But you still got to sit there and learn how to use those tools in an effective way. And what that means is sitting out there and going and doing and building a system around that, and then learning to have the discipline. And I think that's the biggest thing. We talked about discipline, you and I did. I think it wasn't on the video yesterday. You and I talked about discipline yesterday for a little bit. And you got to learn to have that discipline to go and implement what you need to implement. Yes, that's what the EA can go and eliminate, is the discipline. But the problem is you need to go and still learn how to build the wall.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because you can have EAs that automatically put on stop losses and automatically put on take profits and things of that nature. You can have EAs that, actually enter and exit the trades for you. But the thing is, sooner or later, just because of the way the market is, it's not going to work.
You're exactly right. I mean, you saw it before where, I got exited out of the trade where I didn't want to get exited out because the EA I was running, it exited me out based on what my parameters were. And sure, that was great that it did that for me. But the problem is that personally, I would have liked to go and let it run, a little bit more. I was actually got out with like 5-6 pips, something like that, maybe even more than that. I don't recall. But where I really wanted to get out was closer to 10 pips. And if I hadn't had that EA running in the background, I would have done it. But that's so what do you do with that? And that's part of the you problem again, because where are you in terms of your headspace? That could take you walk away with a pretty good, nice profit there. you could walk away and be, you know, literally like somebody stole your lollipop because, it's the type of thing. I could have had 10 lollipops and I only got 5, and, you know, and then you get all upset about it. And then what it does is it messes you up for the next trade. And that's why, the emotional thing, the discipline, you gotta get that in check right away. Because unless you get that, working correctly, it doesn't matter.
Or,
I don't care what indicator
yeah,
you're using.
the big one sometimes is maybe you're up a pip or 7 points or whatever, and you exit out of the trade, and then when you look at your trade report, they actually stole, a couple of points or a pip from you, and that can put me in a tailspin. It's like, you bastards, I want my money back.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you saw it happen to me today. I mean,
About
I
three
went through
times.
yeah, it happened to me 3 times. And one time, I went long, and not only did it give me a terrible fill, but it gave me a terrible fill, 1.8 pips. Hey, you look at that. I remember exactly how much it was because it made me so mad and so angry. And it put me into a position where I was only looking to make 2 pips on the trade. Now, what is the likelihood of that? Luckily I was able to go and, the market smiled upon me and I was able to go and continue on and, but it can really mess up your headspace. And then, I said to you earlier, I got into a trade and it was like, hey, look at that. They actually gave me, an extra like half of a pip, from where I exited out. And, and I think I said to you something along the lines of, I won't remember that tomorrow, but I guarantee you I'm going to remember the 1.8 pips that they stole from me.
Yeah, it's easy to remember what they stole from you, that's for sure. That's for sure.
And so knowing that, again, it comes down to it's not the indicator. The indicator doesn't make you any money. What makes you money is sitting down and you developing your system around, and I haven't said this in a while, but I used to say it a lot, developing a system around your personality, who you are. You got to know yourself and know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your tendencies, and based off of that, then you can go and, start to sit down and say, okay, using this tool and this tool and this tool, I can go and develop something that could be nice and profitable. It's like a mason. There's some guys that got a really great eye, and don't need strings and don't even need to go plumb thing or anything like that. And they can fly through it, and yet there are other guys that, they couldn't hold a level line if they tried. And so they have to use those additional tools to go and keep them in line. Well, trading's the same way. I know that you love using multimeters. For me, they just take up space on the chart. Sorry, I know you put a lot of work into developing them, but for me, they're not that useful.
Yeah.
But for somebody like you, they're very useful.
Yeah, because like I said, I just can glance out of the corner of my eye. Like right now, everything's pretty much green and blue. That means I should be long, if anything. But for the trader, what's the most profitable indicator? Horizontal line. trade, in the direction of the line cross. Because fellow traders, it's not the system. It's not what you trade. It's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.